Hello, and welcome to this edition of Wisdom of the Fathers. The Catholic faith is one of rich intellectual tradition, stretching all the way back to the time of Christ. When Christ ascended into heaven, he left us a church that was in its infancy, in its self-understanding. This infancy created a need within it, the church, for individuals to rise up, think about, pray over, and meditate upon what God was revealing. The answer to this need was the church fathers, certain individuals who were intellectual giants, gifted with the ability to either break down an article of faith into its simplest form or develop it further. They did this so we ordinary Catholics could understand the fullness of Jesus' teaching. In this sixth episode of Wisdom of the Fathers, we're going to talk about Clement of Alexandria, a noteworthy church father. Now, before we look at his inspiring story, let's first examine the value of this man. Clement was the first well-known theologian of the Church of Alexandria. He was a confessor and trained Origen. He is most revered for his attempt to unite Greek pagan philosophy with Christianity. He also attempted to mediate Gnostics and Orthodox Christians. In his works, he shows exhaustively that the philosophers owe a large part of their knowledge to the writings of the Old Testament. Further, Clement emphasizes the permanent importance of philosophy for the fullness of Christian knowledge, which explains the relation between knowledge and faith, and he outright criticizes those who are unwilling to make any use of philosophy. Clement was born in 150 AD to pagan parents, most likely in Athens, as history tells us. As a young man, Clement traveled to an assortment of places such as Greece, Asia Minor, Palestine, and Egypt. His journeys were primarily a religious undertaking. In the course of his travels, he attached himself successively to different masters, to a Greek of Ionia, to another of Magna Graecia, and to a third of Coele Syria. He then befriended three individuals who were not masters, an Egyptian, an Assyrian, and a converted Palestinian Jew. These friendships led him to reject paganism, and thus he subsequently converted to Christianity. In around 180, at the age of 30, Clement reached Alexandria, where he met Patanus, who taught at the Catechetical School of Alexandria. Clement studied under Patanus and was later ordained to the priesthood by Pope Julian in 189. For the next 35 years, Clement was the intellectual leader of the Alexandrian Christian community. He wrote a vast number of ethical and theological works, as well as biblical commentaries. He fought the heretical Gnostics. He engaged in polemics with Christians who were suspicious of an intellectualized Christianity, and he taught pupils who became theological and ecclesiastical leaders. Clement of Alexandria later died in the year 215. His greatest work that he left the church was the book entitled The Trilogy. This work consists of three parts: the Exhortation to the Greeks, Instructor, and the Miscellanies. The first book deals with the religious basis of Christian morality. The second and third pertain to the individual cases of conduct. Besides the great trilogy, another significant work of Clement is the treatise, Who is the Rich Man That Shall Be Saved?, based on Mark chapter 10, verses 17 to 31. This commentary promulgates the principle that the misuse of riches is to be condemned. Now that we have an understanding of who Clement of Alexandria was, Let us now turn to what he had to say about homosexuality.
The fate of the Sodomites was judgment to those who had done wrong, instruction to those who hear. The Sodomites, having through much luxury fallen into uncleanness, practicing adultery shamelessly, and burning with insane love for boys, the all-seeing Word, whose notice those who commit impieties cannot escape, cast his eye on them. Nor did the sleepless guard of humanity observe their licentiousness in silence, but dissuading us from the imitation of them, and training us up to his own temperance, and falling on some sinners, lest lust being unavenged should break loose from all the restraints of fear, ordered Sodom to be burned, pouring forth a little of the sagacious fire on licentiousness, lest lust, through want of punishment, should throw wide the gates to those that were rushing into voluptuousness. Accordingly, the just punishment of the Sodomites became to men an image of the salvation which is well calculated for men. For those who have not committed like sins with those who are punished will never receive a like punishment.
Well, that's all for this episode. Thank you for tuning in to Wisdom of the Fathers. And make sure to catch us next time, where we discuss our next church father, Basil of Caesarea, and what he had to say about the creation of the world. I'm Russ Voris, Michael's father. God bless, and thank you for tuning in.